already sweating. But I wanted to come and talk about personal power, and I wanted to talk about, some of the skills, if you will, that I am having to use to navigate myself through these times, and some that I think will help you as well. All right, so as I am on this wonderful, little walking trail, and oh my God, let me tell you, these live cameras, they don't do a thing for you. If anything, they make me look aged. I'm like, I don't look this bad. Woo, yeah. Anyway, um, personal power. I've got a video coming out talking about that very thing. And with personal power, I am wanting to come and, talk just about a little bitty part of this personal power. Now, personal power is something that we kind of like take for granted, but it's one of them things that if you don't watch it, it is like the tides. It will come in and overtake you. And the reason why I'm saying this is because, like right now, if you find that there are areas that you're struggling with, and it could be in your relationships, where you might feel alienated, misunderstood, you might have where you might be lonely, you might be in a time of losing friends, that happens. These are things that happen in life, but if you haven't been working on your personal power to imbue yourself with the fortitude, with the tenacity to stay the course, stay focused, and go through the tough times, it's going to be hard to endure this. And so that is one of the things that I am learning, that when we are living this life, one of the things that folks don't tell you in the manual is that there are going to be times where you have to just endure. You're going to have to be on an endurance kick. And it might not be, hi, hola, hi. It might not be where you are able to sustain yourself because you thought it was coming to pass and not to stay. And that thing is just sitting on you, saturating you with the nasties of suffering, of struggle, and of discomfort. And so when we're talking about personal power right now, like I said, I want to impress upon you to start before it's too late. Because that's something that people are not, telling you. It's easy to get on social media, create content about how to make money, about how to be cute, about what to dress, what to put on your nails or whatever. It's another thing to be able to be reminded and encouraged that in this life you're going to have some struggles, and that these are the things in the toolkit that you have to bring out. And if you haven't used them in a while, it's going to require you to jump high fast. So that's why Big Sis Michelle is here, taking you on my morning walk to talk about this tiny little aspect of personal power, and that is what's needed for endurance, what's needed for self-preservation. I don't want to cover too many of them, but I definitely want to, bring that to you. So let's get into it. Now, I will have another little video coming out talking about personal power when it comes to your personal agency and autonomy, and tell you a funny little story about how I was slapped in the face with, girl, you are failing when it comes to that. But for today, I want to make sure that I am telling you to consider, not telling, asking you to consider this, because whether you're in the midst of it or not, it's coming. Oh, because that's life. It's coming. Hi there, how you guys doing? It's coming. So, all right. No matter where you are in this world, these things are going to affect you, and that is, you're going to come up to a time where the stuff that you're used to does not work anymore, and you might feel helpless. You might feel overpowered and overwhelmed. But one of the things that I'm going to say is, in your life's toolbox, is to activate your personal power to be able to become agile so that you can endure. And that's something that people are starting to come to grips with. Do y'all know that companies who are hiring folk, they did it in a subtle way they started about actually almost 10 years ago. But have y'all noticed that they don't really require you to have a college degree as much for a lot of the positions? No, they don't. And the reason why is because they are starting to realize that it is a win-win when people are able to be agile. They are able to MacGyver their way through situations. Because if you have somebody who has the ability to change with whatever comes up, whatever you throw their way, and they're able to not only survive but to thrive, they are way better of a quality asset for a company than the person who simply proved that they could endure in the past to get a degree. Now, don't shout me down when I'm preaching good. I am not saying that you don't need a degree, because you do in a lot of situations, and getting that degree will help you with certain things that are needed to do that job and to understand the process and the skills needed to do that job. I'm just simply saying that even corporate world is starting to understand that you need people that are able to activate certain areas of their personal power at will. And so with this activation, like I said, today I kind of want to talk to you about the ability to activate your agility, your your adaptability, to be able to do what is needed, to whether it be to encourage yourself to keep going. It's unfortunate that we're seeing what happens when people don't have that skill, or they're not aware that that is the skill that's required to do the job of living right now. If you're in a situation where you are finding that no matter what you do, it seems to not be working, it seems to not be getting better, it seems to be getting worse, this might be a sign from the global all, the one, God, one source, all is mine, however you want to refer to it, that there are areas of your personal power that you have yet to activate, or that you need to grow because the situation is requiring that. And I don't know about you, but that is a revelation. That is a revelation. And it's a revelation because we can talk a good game of, I'm a survivor, or I'm a this, I'm a that. And then situations happen to knock you on your butt, or on our butt, and it takes a little too long to, figure it out. Sometimes powering through and doing the same thing that you've always done is not going to work. And that's a pretty good indicator that it is time to activate this. So let me talk a little bit about being agile and adaptive, highly adaptable. So I've already told you that a lot of companies are starting to look for these kind of people. So much so that, how many people are familiar with the term IQ? your intelligence quotient. Well, honey, now companies and people are looking for AQ, and that is your agility quotient. How, not just fast, but how able are you to be flexible, to change, to move, to morph, if you will, into what is needed for the situation? How able are you to become adaptable to your new environment and your new situation so that you find your true north and you become a person who thrives in it? Those are some of the things. And let me just not prove, but give you some food for thought as to why Big Sis Michelle is not lying to you about this. I don't know if you've had to interview for a job within the last 10 years or not, but interviewing changed from getting to know you and wanting to know your skills and giving you scenarios of how you problem solve for a skill that the job requires. Now, they're administering these quote unquote tests to give you scenarios and asking you, what would you do in this scenario? How would you function in this scenario? And that is the movement away from just what you know to procure this job, and instead to see how fast or how creative you can be to become mentally agile and adaptable to a new situation. And that is because the world is moving at the speed of thought, and it is more important for you to be able to not crumble and descend into madness when stuff doesn't go your way or how you expected it to. How fast do you get to the point where you can turn it around? And so that falls under personal power. It also is such that we need to be able to self-soothe. It's amazing to me, and I say this about myself, that when we were children, we were really good at finding ways to self-soothe. Now, I'm not talking about an abuse or trauma. So we all got them, whatever, in different situations, in different ways. What I'm talking about is that ability to connect to yourself, to know that I am not feeling safe, I'm not feeling whatever. I'm fine. How are you, brother? Good morning to you. Whether it was when you were a child and sucked a pacifier, my mom, she didn't play that. She's like, y'all not getting stuck on that oral fixation. But anyway, whether it was your favorite blanket where you curled up, whether it was you sought out comfort foods that warmed your belly and put you back into your body. We were really good at understanding that and doing that. But it seems the older we get, the more divorced or separated, I should say, we are from being able to self-encourage, self-soothe so that we can make it through these times. And whatever age you're in, it's always going to be a perilous time. And I truly believe that the majority of people come equipped with being able to survive and even thrive in the time that they're born. And I also want to say that we have to activate and remember that we have a whole toolbox in our personal power. It's kind of like this is the operating system we come with to use these tools to help us in these different situations. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention it, because I'm having to dig through that toolbox, go to the back of the toolbox and get that stuff that looks new, because I haven't had to use it in a while to be able to do this. And I promised you that I was going to take you with me, like I'm taking you with me on my morning walk and sharing with you. And I'm going to tell you, one of the fastest ways to be able to get to what we would call a state of thriving is to activate your personal power. And there are many parts of your personal power. But this morning, I want you to focus on looking at how adaptable can you be. And when I say I'm not talking about adaptability where you just lay down and take it. I am talking about where adaptability, you survey your situation, your environment. You use some good old deductive reasoning to glean the information that your environment is trying to give you in feedback. And then you use this information for your betterment so that you're able to start, you guessed it, thriving. I want you to look at your life and I want you to say, where am I being inflexible? And it's coming back to bite me in the tuchus, you know? Where am I in certain areas where I might need to become more agile? I might need to strengthen certain areas, upgrade or change certain beliefs, those things, so that I can not just stay with the times, but I can get ahead. You know, those types of things, because they're going to be required, whether you realize it or not. They're going to be required. And if you're not aware, and if it comes up on you and you're not ready, it's going to take too doggone long for you to become what you need so that you can get to the point of thriving. You know, okay, let me see here. So the question is, if my baby mama got a boyfriend, good morning. If my baby mama got a boyfriend, how do I stay away from her? I am not in my backyard. I'm actually on the trail. And it's a little small trail, nestled between a building, office building, and a public building. But anyway, okay, how do you stay away from her? Okay, so the thing is, look at how you're asking and framing that word. First of all, you said baby mama. That in and of itself is probably something you need to look at of your relationship to this person. You have said, this is my child's mother. So there's already some distance there. And then you said she has a new boyfriend. That means that whether you want to realize it or not, both of you either have moved on or you need to move on. So there's that. And then you said stay away from her. The question is, instead of, and I want to pose this is what I'm saying, instead of trying to stay away from her, maybe figure out with her how you stay in connection and proper relationship and alignment with your child. And that way, that is going to help you to become agile, you know, flexible and adaptable to the new environment. I hope that helps. Hey, got any tips? I'm a freshman and I get bullied a lot. Okay, so with bullying, first and foremost, there is an energy to bullying. And this energy is, and most people want to say bullies are because they got hurt and all this kind of stuff. And I have found in my years that that might be the case, but it could be so buried down that that person doesn't even connect with it, and that they've transferred this energy into a basic survival. And this basic survival is about predator and prey. Okay? So I want you to do a little, you know, just a little bit of work, if you will, on not the bully, but on you. Are you perceiving yourself knowingly or unknowingly as prey? And the reason why I say that is because a lot of times with a flip of a thought, you can move out of the easy pickings to the I wish you would find out, you know, that type of thing. And it doesn't require that you do a lot toward the bully as much as you do within yourself. Now, you said that you're a freshman. That means that you're new. And remember I said that with this personal power, that we need to deduce from our environment some of the things that it's giving us. The fact that you are a freshman means you fresh meat. You are new on the scene. You are, you know what? Let me give you this one. My grandma, bless her soul, she used to give me little stories, if you will, to help me. And one of the things that she said was that, good morning, I'm well. One of the things that she said was, always remember when you go somewhere, think of it as an ocean. And understand this, that trash rises to the surface first, but treasure stays sunken. And Adam, what she meant by this was, she meant that when you go somewhere, there are always going to be those shallow people that they have proven that they are not the treasure. They have proven that they can't sustain relationships in that environment. And so they're floating on the water so they can get first sight, first eye pickings on the new person. Because the new person hasn't been there long enough to know that this person does not have the internal character to be friends, you know? So as a freshman, that could possibly be the case as well. And I'm going to give you one more and then I'm going to give you some tips, okay? I promise I'm going to give you some tips. The other thing is to deduce by looking at your environment about how this bully acts. Bullies, I find, and I don't want to be too categorical because there are different gradients to everything, but two of the most prevalent ways that a bully can act is they will be overt and have a crew with them that comes behind them, you know, like their hype team to hype them up, you know, to be the lookout for what they're doing wrong. Or they can be covert and sneaky with it and try to do stuff to you and dare you to tell anybody. You know, I want you to take that into consideration too. Is that the situation? Because we can deduce from those how they orient to their world. If you've got a bully that's overt and needs a crowd, that's pretty indicative of the point that yes, we are dealing with a wounded person who is deficient in what they need in their life, and thus they're constantly trying to prove that they are the predator and not the prey. If you have someone that's overt and sneaky, baby, you might be dealing with someone who is in the realms of not what I call, but what's called the dark triad, where they might be a sociopath, a narcissist, or masochist. I mean, not a masochist. They a sadist, you know, where they love to inflict pain on people and those types of things. And depending on what you can glean from those two different situations, will help you. Now, here's some tips I have for you, Adam. First and foremost, one of the biggest ones, when you are becoming agile and adaptable to your situation, remove prescribed titles. Let's see. Thanks a lot for helping me. Gotta go to school and I will sub because you're helping me through this. Yeah, continue to watch this because I'm gonna give you some tips. Remove the title of freshman. That don't matter, baby. You are a student there. When you take away that freshman, it allows you to be strong and it allows you to get out of the pen of the little lambs for the slaughter. It allows you to stop being the new meat. It allows you energetically to take back your personal power. Okay, so that's one. Remove the titles. The next one is take what you see from how the bully behaves with you and how it behaves, they behave with others. And based on that, this is going to let you know how to move. And I have, over the years, found that a lot of bullies, They are ready for when you try to come back at them physically, when you try to overpower them. You do not. One of the most powerful powers is being able to get them here. And when I say get them here, don't try to outsmart them. Try to throw doubt in what they do. The way you can do this, and if you're watching this, oh hey Indonesia, and the way you do this is Socrates, the gadfly of his time. He was like a gnat on people's butts. He just irritated them. Start to learn how to get your question game up, and ask them questions that cause them to get off kilter. And one of them might come up to, why you rushing up on me? You must not be good at this or that, because I don't have what you're trying to look for. I'm not that big of a person to help you with your mommy needs or whatever. Now don't talk smack if you can't back that up, but start to ask them questions. Start with why. When you ask people why, it causes them to instantly become introspective and look within. And when you do a lot of whys, and come back and let me know. When you do a lot of whys, it's going to be like, what? How dare you? You're like, but why? You just keep, but why? And eventually, whether you realize it or not, you're going to cause them to take their focus off of seeing you as prey and seeing themselves in a self-reflective way. Okay? And if they try to resort to violence, that kind of thing, that's going to let you know you're getting them. And they'll be less apt to try to come after you. Okay? So those are some few little tips. And right now, Adam, I join with you in your energy to get on a different frequency where they don't even see you. They don't even seek you out, because at this very moment right now, you are no longer perceived as prey. You are not prey. You are the apex predator, if you will, of your own life. And I want you to know that you have strengths that they don't even know. They're not even on that level of your strength. Okay? So this is Big Sis Michelle. Love you, baby. You got this. Now go on to go to school and be great. All right? All right. So you guys, those are just, some of the things that I want you to be aware of. Taking your personal power is about you. It starts with you. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. It's about you. And too many times we are tricked into believing that we can't have effect in our lives if we do it. We're led to believe that others have to help us. And I said have to. Others can help you. And yes, you probably can shorten the amount of time from where you are to where you need to be when others help you. But it is not mandatory. You can do something right now. And like I said, with the personal power, many things are in this. And I'm going to be covering some more as well. But I want to, just talk to you live right now about the ability to encourage yourself, the ability to be adaptable, to be agile in how you flip the script, how you flip your point of view of how you live this world, and to understand that just in the blink of an eye, the start, you can do this. We can do this. Do not fall into this lie from the pit of hell, Hades, wherever you think it might be, that you can't do something, because you can, and you should. And it's a muscle that must be built. Because now this is another thing that I am finding, and that is that if you are successful in continuing to live the challenges, the trials, the tests, they simply become harder, whether you have been growing or not. If you're a gamer, think about how you have to increase your leveling and grind and these types of things so that you can progress through the journey. of whatever the game has for you to be able to win. What if you did not do any of this and you kept trying to go through this journey? You only got so many lives in the game. You wouldn't progress very far. And it would get to the point where life would start to bully you. How many of you all out there feel like life is bullying you? Now, this is not as simple as I'm going to put it, but this will at least help you with a different point of view. Life might be bullying you because you need to up your personal power. Life might be bullying you because you are in a stage of life where the skills are not where they need to be. And that might be why others are surpassing you, because they're doing the leveling, the grinding, they're doing the skills acquisition. Now, this is not to put you down or to say that you're a failure, because you're not. This is simply to say in this life you will have troubles. And these troubles are here not to necessarily bully you, but to always be giving you an assessment of where you really are on this journey. And that's why I am on these brilliant quests, because I used to shy away from this stuff. I used to shy away from, I don't want to think about that. That kind of thing. This just came to me. Social media, whether we like it, hate it, or otherwise, social media is an accelerator for these types of tests, because social media gets you to the point where you fall into comparison with others. How many of you guys are like that? And it takes a lot to remind yourself, don't compare myself with others. Well, you know why we tend to compare ourselves with others? It's because it's a way for us to see where we are and how we're faring. It's a way to give ourselves a quote unquote grade on how we're lifing, Now, we do know that a lot of the social media stuff is false, and that you shouldn't be grading yourself on that, and you shouldn't be comparing yourself on that. But I want to say, the fact that we compare is because that's a component of life, and we use our environments to gauge how we need to be moving and how we need to be going. And so that's one of the things that just came to me. And that is, if you find yourself comparing, go to your personal power. And when you go to your personal power, like I talked about today, look and see, are there areas where I can become more adaptable, to thrive quicker, where I can become more agile, to think and expose myself to different points of view, to deduce from what the environment is giving me. Try those types of things. It might be where in your personal power, you need to learn when it is up to you to self-soothe so that you can get through, not wallow in, but get through difficult times, emotionally, financially, socially, any of those things. Or it could be in that personal power. It might be just on the nose. Stop being so weak. Stop letting others run over you. Stop being a prey. If you are finding that you're starting to think, wait a minute, I'm the one that's sending out that energy that I'm a prey, Shout out to Adam for helping us to even look at that, because I can definitely tell from his energy he's not a prey, But stop doing that. Sometimes people don't like prey, and they fall into this category of victim. And victims, and this is me getting into the therapy side, but hey, thank you for the blessings. And sometimes victims don't realize that they have clung onto the lifeboat of entitlement. And entitlement in this sense is not where you feel like you're entitled to stuff. Entitlement in this sense feels like you think everybody has it better than you. If you could just be this, if you could just get that, if things were different, if you weren't born here, if you didn't have these parents, if you didn't have this job, this wife, this husband, whatever. That's a sense of entitlement that's there to trick you. It is not you. And that's another thing about this victimhood mentality. It is a mask. It is not the truth of the person. And it is there to siphon off your personal power. Because as a victim, you'll know that this thing is trying you and on you, riding you. Because when there comes time for you to do something, you get all of these, well, what about? And this is why I can't. And you get these excuses. And they are very logical. Yeah, they're not delusional. They can even be quote unquote factual. Not truthful, but factual. And you get all of these, well, what about this? Or I don't have that. And you can quickly come up with this litany, this long list of stuff that prevents you from moving forward, because it all points back to I need external power and external help to get it done. That's victimhood, and that is where life has said they ain't getting the message. Okay, we're gonna release the grace from them and let this victimhood beat them down until they finally get a clue and start taking back their power. And like I said, it's a slippery slope. The comparison that we fight with is not a bad thing if kept in check. It's a bad thing when you compare yourself and you get into this victimhood of entitlement where you believe everybody has it better than you do. And I just need you to be very mindful of that. That's another area, if you will, of personal power. Because when you hold that mirror up to yourself and you realize this isn't me, this is a weird kind of mask I've put on and forgotten that I'm the person beneath the mask, and you pull it off, guess what starts to happen? Ask yourself this question and then act on it or answer it or start to prove it. For everything that you are listing as to why you can't or why it's hard, and I mean, as y'all can tell, I'm a black Southern woman of a certain age, and yet and still, personal power is still mine. It's still yours. You can do that which you said you would and could do, even if that means that in order to have and do what you said you could and would, that you must move from where you live. That's still within your personal power. So these are the questions that you ask yourself. You ask yourself, if I had, and you can go back down the list of all the stuff you said that you couldn't do. I mean, you couldn't do this because of these things. If I had X, Y, Z, if all of this stuff was in order, what would I do? And then start doing it. And when I say start doing it, you're going to find that here's a top one: money. Here's another one: connections. These are things that love to use the tool of victimhood to make you think that you can't have something. What if I had the money? What if I had the connections? What would I do? What would I do next? And start working on it. 9 times out of 10, the very things that you said, if you already had them, you would do, your infinite wisdom connected to source, God, whatever, Buddha, Allah, whatever you want to call it, is going to start leading you to self-correcting to get the stuff that you said you needed. Does that make sense? It might be you pick up a call, I mean, you pick up the phone, or you send an email, and there's a 6 degree of separation kind of thing where you reach out to someone and say, hey, I'm trying to do X, Y, and Z. Do you know anybody? And you don't expect them to say no. But now you've planted the seed out in the universe that you're serious about this, and they might not know, but you never know. Somebody out there might, or it could be where now that they are aware and the awareness of what you're trying to do is available, you've expanded your ability to find that resource. And they might say, oh, I ran across this person that was just asking me this. Let me, put you guys together. And thus, that is the wisdom of personal power. Personal power is there to build the bridge back to making the impossible possible. It is there to build the bridge back to self-empowerment, in that you become a champion. And that's one of the last things I want to say before I get off here and finish up my walk while I'm trying to climb these little inclines and talk and hold this phone at the same time. And that is, I don't want to challenge you to do anything, because that's an external force. And once the challenge is met, the force is gone and the impetus to do wanes. What I want you to do is I want you to create a champion in your life in a certain area of your choosing for your personal power. And I want you to train and test and get this champion to start working for you. If you want to, call it a persona. You know, Beyonce has Sasha Fierce when she gets on stage. Call it a persona if you need to, so that you don't have to wear that mantle all the time. But try it out. Don't just be like, oh, that's nice. Try it out. You're going to be amazed. And when I say try it out with real intention for it to work for you. Okay? So let me just remind you, personal power in this regard is about adaptability and about agility. How agile, how flexible, how able are you to not be so stiff, to not demand that things never change and that stuff should always work the way it has for you in the past? How good are you at updating, upgrading, or even divorcing or killing old beliefs that kept you bound to a previous self? That's all in that agility. And I could do a whole thing just on each one of these. And I might. The next one is, how adaptable are you? Adaptability has to do with being able to deduce from your environment so that you can use this information for your gain, for your betterment, for your edification, to build you up. How adaptable are you is not about compromise. It is not about lowering and taking yourself to a lower frequency. That's just giving up. Adaptability is about you finding a way out of no way to continue to move forward. And adaptability will open up so many different things for you. For one, adaptability will open up your eye to see opportunity. And true opportunity is where everybody thrives. It's not an opportunist on people. It's an opportunity for people. And you'll find that you start to explore and see the gaps in the environment that were there, but everybody is not seeing them, and that you can go in and not exploit, but expound, so that you get better and everybody gets better. You know, because ultimately, personal power, when affected, it is and it's infectious in that it's contagious enough for other people to see, hey, this is working for them. Let it work for me. See how I did that? I brought back that comparison, and why we actually have comparison. Yeah, it's because of that. All right, you guys, like I said before, I'm about to take one of these little inclines again, and I want to be able to breathe. So I'm going to see y'all sooner than later. Y'all have a great one. Thank you for joining me this morning on my walk. And go out there, make it great. Have your personal power. Come back. Send me, show me in the comments that how you're using your personal power, how you're using that you were reminded that you already had this, and what you can do to affect it. Okay? I'm going to see y'all sooner than later. Bye.